I figured we'd go ahead and get started. I'll go ahead and start it. This end first. I'm Boyd Hudson, KO4GJO from Hillsboro.
Oh, we're throwing the new way, going a different way. Okay. Hi, I'm Matthew, KQ4ZYW from Mebane. And on Zoom, we have Doug, KA5ETS, JR, N4JQR, Mark, KR3AM, Richard, K4GEF, Bob, W4FK, Jerry, KR4NJ, Ken, KO4DHJ, and Charles, KQ4TNF.
I guess I can do it this way. Wilson, W4BOH, Hillsboro. And if you forget, I have on the name tag.
Steve, KZ1X from Chapel Hill.
Ron, KO4RON, Pittsburgh.
Dan, KR4UB, Southwest Orange County.
Karen, KD4YJZ, Effland.
Neil, KR4BVU, Hillsboro.
I'm Chris, KE5ABB here in Effland.
Dave, W4SAR, Effland.
Lori, N1YXU, Chapel Hill.
Bruce, N1LN, Chapel Hill.
KI4RAN, Bill, Durham.
Joe, K4SAR from Durham.
Fred, KN4QBZ.
Juan, KR4EQW, Mebane.
Russell, KR4EBP.
Chip, KF4WBK, Chapel Hill.
Randy, KF40 in Hillsboro.
John.
Dave, K4DJW, Rougemont.
Check-ins. All right. All the announcement I have is you guys should be aware I'll be putting out an email on the reflector this coming Saturday, the 13th. The Cup and Cone folks are going to be doing a bicycle ride, so they'll be utilizing the 442150 repeater, and they should pause so we can get the Oxcom net. So just be aware of that. The Eastern Healthcare Preparedness Coalition exercise. Fred.
Thanks, Boyd. Did Dave Parker get signed in? No? You didn't call his name. I didn't know. Dave, you there? Ta-da-ta. Here we go. Okay. Dave Parker intended to be here. He's got a full schedule and didn't make it, I suppose, but he is definitely involved in helping to get this organized and running. The Eastern Healthcare Preparedness Coalition, EHPC, runs an exercise every spring in June for hurricane preparedness. And so here we go. Now, it's basically a situation on an EOC location. We haven't worked out all those details yet, but we will. And what we're and what will support you to get ready to play. on June 25th at 9 o'clock. The exercise starts at 9 and runs through 2, and then there's a hot wash afterwards. Basically, the format is you'll start getting emails. There's a storm in the Atlantic. It's tracking here. It's there. And so just like every day, you start getting a new weather report. And so it's a lead up, just like it's going to be when the real thing happens. And when the real thing happens, we'll switch to a live Zoom conference where, again, the whole exercise is explained. And you'll receive a text message. And the text message is called an MSEL, MSEL. And with that, you start to get tasks, what to do. Okay. For example, typically the first task, and this is all confidential, right? I haven't seen it. I've been through the exercise a few times and I expect to see some of this again. First task, what's your 205? What radio frequencies do you plan to use? 205A, who's there with you? What's the weather report where you're at? And on and on and on. So it's some basic catching up, but then it moves into more challenging things. The headquarters for the exercise is in Kinston, North Carolina, in the eastern region. And there's a room full of smart guys in there with a whole lot of experience. And if they see you're catching up and you're really getting it done, they'll put in an inject that'll slow you down. And I've done the exercise, I don't know, 5 times. They always kick my butt, always. But I always learn something. And it's important because it's real life. Okay, this could happen. And so it also causes me to think and imagine and then deal with should it happen. You've done the exercise. Yep, I'm going to put you on the spot.
So I've done it a couple of times on the, I guess on the comms side for emergency comms, but it's very well organized. Matt McMahon in Greenville, he's the one that leads it up, and they spend a whole year plus just planning this out. They have a very good website that you'll go to when you get your email and everything, and it'll have, like you said, those tasks laid out for you and how to go about doing those, or you think on your own how you're going to go about doing. There's different levels of that difficulty there, but it's very well organized. You learn a lot from it. And I really recommend taking it because, you know, you get a lot more out of it than you would think.
Day that it's going to
June 25th, June 25th. And the exercise starts, I believe it's at 9 o'clock, 8:30 or 9. On terms, and that I'm here tonight. You can't hear me now? Is that better? So one of the things that you need to do to take full advantage of the exercise is to use WinLink. Now that may sound intimidating, but we've got 3 Elmers and, well, 4 Elmers in this room that can teach WinLink. Randy, what's your plan for WinLink?
Well, actually, we'll start pick up again this Saturday. We've done it several times and had last time we only had a few folks to do it. But how many of you can use WinLink? Okay, we need some more guys too in there. But this Saturday we'll have a little practice session on the 9 o'clock, 9:30 web on the the net, Auxcom net. So I'll send out instructions probably Thursday or Friday, and we'll go from there. Yes, it's Bruce. Well, it shouldn't, because I give you the instructions and then everything's off. You're offline to do it.
Okay. And then we also need to understand need to tune this up so that you feel comfortable. And well,
we're getting dropout on Zoom.
yeah, yeah.
On audio.
Yeah. Okay, you've done
I've done it a ComT, ComL type role, but I've looked across the Oxcom tasks and everything. A lot of it's WinLink dependent, so get brushed up on that for sure.
There are tracks for ambulance, hospitals, police. Well, so it's an integrated exercise. So tomorrow I'm going. Yes, okay, Aurora. Comment. They can't hear you.
A question about WinLink. Is this something that techs can participate in? Are there WinLink options for like 2 meters or something like that? Or do you have to have, or 10 meters? Or do you have to have like HF privileges?
Oh, what Randy is saying is all the above, but you can get by without a radio. You can use internet on your computer. Yeah. WinLink is really flexible, and that's part of the power of it. It's being able to send a text message, written message, okay, over the radio or over the internet. Yeah, so it's fun. Any comments?
I would just say WinLink is an application, one application. It uses forms because that saves bandwidth. It's like if you're going to send some information and it's in a form, your sender system has those forms you fill out. The receiving system has those forms, and the sender says, I'm sending you data that goes in this form type. It dramatically cuts down on the bandwidth you need to send more complex communications. It's one application that can use so many different ways, transport layers, if you will, to get data from point to B, VHF, UHF, HF, telnet, internet, all kinds of packdoors, all kinds of modes. And that's sort of one of the challenges. It's got so much flexibility. You need to learn, you write a message, then you go up and say, okay, for this message, I'm going to use this transport layer to send it. And there's a lot of them. And that's sort of part of the learning and learning to use it. It can do a lot, but doing a lot means it can be a little bit overwhelming to get. I won't say, it just takes some time to get used to it.
But we can get you there by the 25th, right? Yeah. The other, what I think is kind of neat. I know very few first responders, professional first responders working in the EOC that know how to use WinLink. They look to us, the ham radio community, to know how to use WinLink. And so that becomes one of the things that how we create value is by knowing how to do this in a real world. So I'll be sending the poll out tomorrow. I'd like to hear if you're ready to play. We're also going to ask if you want support for WinLink or DMR or whatever. We'll be happy to do it.
This is Bill. I would like, and this is not right now, guys, Joe and some other members of this club to assist me within learning WinLinks. We're not going to put this as a pressure situation, but I do need to learn some of this stuff, but it needs to be done in a slower way so that I catch on to it correctly. I'm much slower at learning, but I can still do it. I've proven to Dave I can do it, Bruce I can do it, and everybody in this club I can do what I do for field day, and I've done it very well. I just want to put that out to you guys.
I just want to let you know that in the works, we've discussed at our board meetings is having a weekend WinLink like over the Zoom tutorial session. We're not gonna have time to do it before this, but it'll be sometime in the fall. So if you, yeah. But it's one of those things that like, if any of you need additional help after it, then you'll have a whole bunch of people who know how to use it, who can provide additional help. So, but we'll try to do it so that people who are coming into it from a wide variety of different experience levels can still be successful.
Hang on, Randy, hang on.
Thursday, I send out step by step, very, very detailed instructions on how to do it. So should be fairly straightforward, even for people that have never even seen it before.
So mark your calendar, June 25. Mark your calendar for Saturday. More from Randy, and we'll get going in OCRA. And sorry that David could not be here. He's been here for the last couple of meetings. He's a water walker. This guy is super, and he's just a pleasure to deal with. So if you get a chance. Do you? Yes. And well, no, you've introduced another thing. The official sign up is through NC Terms. Not everybody here has. We can get you signed up. We can do it as a group. This is what David will get organized in terms of what do we need and how do we make it happen. But you can play from home. You can play from a central location.
Thanks, Fred. Okay.
Your turn.
I was doing the intermission music. Tony told me not to think backwards. Why not? Oh, I love it.
Thank you all. We're getting ready again for field day once again this year. And those of you who were at the DFM meeting last week, this is going to look very familiar. It's the same presentation. So those who attended both meetings will be double dipping. But how many people here have not been to a field day yet? So we got a few. Okay, great. I know Matthew's been to one, right? Matthew, you're hooked now, right? Yeah, there you go. So some of the stuff I'll say here is for people who have not been to a field day yet, but what it's about, and some of us are old hands here. So at any rate, let me move on. The two clubs, the DFMA and the Orange County Radio Amateurs, both had separate field days for many years, and yeah, they did okay in the rankings. Middle of the pack usually, or down toward the lower half of the pack. And then some years back, one of the members of the club had a brilliant idea, because one thing we had people who were members of both organizations. So which field day do you go to? and we were kind of competing against each other in that way. But a member had a brilliant idea and said, why not have the two clubs throw their resources together into a joint operation? And it was great because the scores started climbing up every year. The synergy between these two clubs was just great. And out of more than 5,000 participating stations in the United States and Canada, we started moving up the ranks and got into the top 10. And we actually, a few years back, before COVID hit, got up to rank number 2 nationally out of more than 6,000 participating stations. So we did a fantastic job. And that was probably about as good as we get because there's no touching the Potomac Valley Radio Club because they have that big massive operation and they always dominate every year. So when COVID came along and kind of shut down field day to home stations only, we and then finally when it kind of reopened a bit, we kind of changed our direction a little bit. We went from being just strictly competitive to making it more friendly for new operators to get their feet wet and participate and get a taste for it. What we did back then when for competing was we used QRP, 5 watts of power or less to get the 5 times multiplier on all the QSOs we were doing. So that's what racked up the scores really well for us. It also made us put up very efficient antenna systems and such to make sure that people could hear us. But particularly for the phone stations, it was kind of frustrating because with 5 watts, you'd be shouting into the void a lot and getting a very low return back. So we changed it once we did the new repivoting to the other class, which was up to 100 watts of power, which gives you a 2 times multiplier, but the phone stations got a much better rate of return. So it was, especially for new people who are trying this, they actually had people answering them back. So it made it a lot more fun for them. Okay. The field day is always held on the last rainy weekend of June. I mean, the last full weekend of June. Okay. And it involves the United States and Canada primarily. So the ARL and the RAC work together on this. Now, it's probably the biggest contest in the world, but it's not supposed to be really a contest. It's really more of a disaster exercise, believe it or not, because the original intention of Field Day was that you were going to set up your station out in the field, a temporary station, and use emergency power if possible, and try to contact as many other stations in North America doing the same thing. But there's different classes now. A lot of people can work from home, and I'll go into that a little bit later. Okay, for our particular field day core plans, the weekend before is when we do some preliminary site prep. And then the main setup itself, the core setup of the stations we're putting together, will be on Friday, June 26th. Operating period for field day itself is from 2 p.m. local time on June 27th to 2 p.m. June 28th. So Saturday, Sunday, it's a full 24 hours that we will be running. And this year, as I mentioned before, we're operating at 100 watts, so new operators will be likely to be heard and get a good response rate. N3 FJP software will be loaded into a number of the club laptops to use to log contacts at the phone and digital stations. And it's a very user-friendly, intuitive program. You'd learn how to use it within a few minutes. Now, for the CW operators, who are the big guns we have out there, and they're going to be the really competitive part of this operation, they prefer to use a freeware program called N1MM, which has a lot of tools they need, which helps them out quite a bit. But I've looked at it. I can't figure it out. It's not user-friendly. So both options will be out there. For whoever wants to use any particular kind of logging system, that's fine, as long as it can generate what they call an ADIF file, which is a standard for contesting. I can pull all the logs together from the different stations into one master file when I do the submission for us later on. Okay, we're going to have 6 HF stations, QRO, and this year we're doing something a little different than last year. we were a home operation on the commercial grid. So we were a 6 Delta operation last year. We're going with batteries this year. So 6 Echo. Yes. You can blame that lady there. She put the bug in my ear to, hey, why don't we just try to do battery because we can get some bonuses. I will get in on that. And I looked into it and figured we can do it. When we went from 5 watts to 100 watts previously, the reason we went to commercial power was we did not have a lot of batteries on hand, but now a lot more people do. A lot more people take it more seriously about having backup power at our homes. So if we looked at the membership here, quite a few people had a few hundred amp hours of battery available to use. And if we pulled that all together, we could accomplish this. We could work at 100 watts and still do it all under emergency power. Another good thing is lithium iron phosphate batteries. So for me to bring 200 amp hours of battery out, actually I'm doing 400 amp hours this year. With the old lead acid batteries I had, that would have been 360 pounds that would have had to haul out back and forth. With the lithium iron phosphate batteries, I'm bringing a total of 85 pounds of batteries with me for the same amount of amperage. So it's something we can pull off. And I thank Aurora for putting the bug in my ear about that. So, okay. Band captains and other control operators will be available at each station. And what that means is anybody who has a technician class license or even no license at all, you can actually operate that radio station because a control operator who has the proper privileges will be there to let you operate the radio essentially. So I encourage you, if you have friends who are thinking about doing ham radio, this is their chance, even if they don't have a license yet, to see what it's like and go out there. Any questions so far on it? Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This means there is a fire permit in
Mhm.
place,
Mm-hmm.
and that means we need to stay.
Yeah, we'll get into the safety issues in just a little bit, but thank you. Okay, this is the overview of the station locations. There's going to be 3 main locations where we'll be working on the site. So the CW operation will be in the Land of Magic, and for those of you who don't know, that's Wilson's Basement, which is a museum of amateur radio, and it's a living museum of amateur radio. So that is where we will the telegraphy will be going on out in there. Joe and Bill will be in their trailer out on the field in between. And the last site will be the barn, which is where the digital people will be sitting as far away as possible from the CW people. So we'll try to annoy them as little as possible. Yes, yes. And oh, yes, I forgot to mention that in the garage will be the 80 and 20 meter sideband station. And that's our accessibility station because the barn has a set of steps. Joe has a few steps on his trailer, but if we have anybody who can't handle stairs at all, the garage is a straight going in on a concrete pad, essentially. So anybody has any issues with stairs, there's a place where you can operate right there. And the other advantage, as I told Matthew, of the garage is that's where all the snacks are kept. All right. And most of the stations, as you can see, are set with a high band and a low band, and that's intentional. We're running 24 hours, right? So with the exception of the 10 meter station, every other station has one high frequency band and one lower frequency band. So that daytime they have something that'll be working, and if it fades up by the evening, you got the other band to work on. So there is some madness to my method here. And these are the band captains we have. So for CW, they're going to be doing all bands. Wilson and the CW gang will be working there out of the Land of Magic. So for digital, I will be running 40, 20, and 15 meters, and that'll be up in the barn. I might take a peek at 80 meter. I've not had very much going on the past few years on the 80-meter band, but if I see anything out there, I'll go for it. For digital, I'll probably be using primarily FT4 and FT8. That's what's really been the hot method lately. I might jump onto PSK31 a few times, but there's less people seem to be doing it, and it takes a bit longer to do a turnaround for the exchanges on that. One advantage of the PSK31 though is that I could use that to grab the ARL Field Day Bulletin for bonus points on Friday night. Okay, the 40 and 15-meter sideband station, that'll be Joe and Bill, and operating out of the trailer. And forgot to mention the antennas, but for digital, I'm going to have a 40-meter vertical antenna as well as a G5RV. Matthew, I got another G5RV for you to run out there for that station. Joe, you mentioned it was an off-center fed dipole that you're utilizing. Very good, very good. And Paul, are you guys doing the Moxon and some other setups for 10? Possibly something else. Very good. Good. All right, that's going to be the layouts essentially. Yep, try that again. Here we are. All right. Main setup will be on Friday, June 26th. So we start early. We both need technical ability and some muscle. So, and if you don't have the know-how, being a good listener still works. So, and basically, we're going to need help with raising any masts we have, lifting up wire antennas, running feed lines, grounding the stations, flagging guy lines. What this means is generally to get the wire antennas up in the trees, we are lobbing either golf ball tipped arrows or we have air cannons firing tennis balls over to put up pilot lines. And then we need people to help haul those antennas up into the trees and tie them off. And while we're shooting those missiles through the air, we do need spotters to keep the landing zone clear. So, yes. I have a vertical antenna that's going to need, it's not very heavy. It's a full quarter wave vertical on 40 meters, but I need probably about 5 or 6 people at least to help put it up because we need to swing it up. I need persons on each guy line, and then we need a spotter to help make sure we got it reasonably vertical when we all tie it down. And then we got to run out of 16 radials from the base of that. So the more hands doing that, the better. Grounding the stations. Yes, we do have a pounder to put in the ground rods on the area. So we'll need people to walk around and help. I know for the field station that Joe's putting up, we need to put in a ground rod right there. The garage already has one outside the window, so we'll have one available there. And yes, sir. And the barn has an existing one, so I think we just might need to get one in for Joe in that instance. Super. And then all that stuff needs to be flagged so we don't have people tripping over it. So they have those orange caps to put over the ground rods. And if you have any feed lines snaking across the ground, we need those marked so people don't trip over them. I'll get to you in a second. And guy lines that might be in a traffic area, we tend to put flagging tape on those so nobody walks into those and knocks anything down.
And I'll be handling coffee.
All important. Yes, this operation is fueled by caffeine. Okay. And as I said, we're going to start early on Friday, so probably we want to get most of the heavy lifting done in the morning before it gets too hot, and many hands makes light work. So we don't want the heavy labor to fall on just the same few people. We want to spread it out and make it a little bit more enjoyable for everyone that way. Usually, if you get there, what'd you say, Wilson? After 8 o'clock? Wilson, how early would you want us to start on Friday? Would you say 8 o'clock? After 8 o'clock, we'll be fine. We'll be out there and starting to work on things. But it's not just the antenna stations that we need to, the antennas and the radio stations that we're working on that day. We also need to get the logistics together. So we're going to do a lot of eating and we need to think about hydration over the weekend as well. So there's going to be lots of tables and chairs to set up in the garage, some small refrigerators, cameras and coolers. I mentioned some work we're doing the weekend before is actually mowing the fields out there. That's the week before, as well as doing some clearing of the garage and sweeping out the floor and all that. So we'll get that ready in advance. And that way on Friday, we're not doing a mad scramble to get it all done. So then at 6 p.m. on Friday is the potluck dinner for everybody, family and friends. So, and that's probably the biggest social event that the two clubs hold together with each other. So, yeah. I know Wilson will have the smoker available on site, and some of us will be working with that. John is going to do need some work with the setup for everything. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to hand this over to John if he wants to speak a bit on those logistics.
Thank you, Dave. John, Kilo Mike 4, Mike Delta Romeo. Setup day, we'll be serving in the morning. I'll get there about between 8 and 8:30. And the first thing we set up is the water and Gatorade for stations. So people working will have hydration right away. Then we'll put a few tables up, enough to cover however many people we got helping for lunch. Around noon, 11:30 to noon, we'll serve sandwiches, Jersey Mike sandwiches and fresh fruit salad for a lunch. So you won't need to bring lunch if you're helping set up on that day. And then around 4:30 in the afternoon, we'll start setting up all the tables and all the chairs. We're going to plan on 40 people this year. I don't know if we'll get them or not, but we usually run around those numbers between 40 and 50 people. And we'll set all the chairs and the tables up and the food prep stations and the cutting boards for Wilson to chop the pork on, and all the serving tables and everything. So we can use help setting up tables. I've got a number of folks that have already signed up to help, but anybody, don't be shy if you want to get involved and help. We can use everybody we got. I sent a flyer out yesterday in the OCRA DFMA repeater with basic information about the setup day and potluck dinner, and also my contact information. So if you do plan to attend the potluck dinner, let me know as soon as possible how many folks are coming with you. Friends and family are welcome. This helps us plan for chairs and tables and make sure we got enough of everything to make it an enjoyable meal for everybody. And also my email is there, my phone number is there. You can respond directly to that email message. You can call me if you prefer to do that, or you can send an email directly to me. I look at it all every day. Once a week, I'll send out a note on the reflector that tells people what foods have been offered up, so people can get an idea. Some folks can't bring a meal without knowing what everybody else is bringing, so we're going to do that for you this year. So, and usually we have a pretty good selection. So, get in early. Don't wait till the last minute. So we need the planning information so Wilson knows how many pork butts he has to purchase, and I know how many chairs and tables I need to scrounge up and those kinds of things. So, any questions for me? There's no money involved here. No, no food contributions required. So, yep. So I guess one other thing, Saturday, we're going to cover, I'm going to cover the meal on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So Saturday, we used to cook hamburgers and all those kinds of things for Saturday evening dinner for folks that were participating in field day. We no longer do that. Last couple of years, we've ordered pizza, and that's gone over real well. So I think that's the plan this year. Saturday, so we'll serve, and then we sporting operations, and we'll start serving around, I think traditionally we do about 8:30, we start serving breakfast, and that usually runs for about an hour, and then we close the kitchen down. We serve
scrambled eggs. We have orange juice, a little bit of milk, etc. That's Sunday morning. Brayton, we'd love you for breakfast, and don't be late. 'Cause we shut it down when it starts slowing down. So with that, I'll turn it back to Dave.
Great. Thank you very much, John. And the other thing to keep in mind also with the setup over in the garage is that there will be some Cambros set up with Gatorade and water and such. So stay hydrated, everybody. All right. Okay, so on Saturday, June 28th. Yep. Yes, indeed. So it begins. All right, that's your day to do your final testing and make sure your station's got all the bugs worked out. And 2 p.m. local time is when it kicks off, and you'll hear just a little bit of silence on the bands, and then all of a sudden at 2 o'clock everything starts moving along, and we're going to be active for 24 hours. So will be a six echo operation, as I mentioned before, which means that 6 HF stations, home stations essentially, running on emergency power. That's the transceivers, with an exception here. So your lights, your fans, your logging laptops, those all can still work off the grid. So you just need your battery power to work the transceiver. The exception I'm talking about is if digital stations, if you're using the computer to modulate the signal, that has to also be on battery power. So you have to keep that in mind. Also for the CW operators, if they're using any kind of software to control the VFO of the radio, likewise, that too has to be on emergency power. So any questions on that so far? And if anybody has any questions on the rules or would need clarification, ask me. I'm fairly familiar with them, but I can go back to my packet and look over the references on it just to make sure we're good. Yes. Yeah. And as mentioned before, we're going to have dinner on site, pizza to be delivered. And unlike the potluck, which is friends and family, everybody come on down, this is really intended for the operators on site. So those who have been working there already that day, or those who are planning to come in and work after dinner time, by all means. And probably what I'll have to do is, after we see the sign-up sheets and I put a call out to find out who plans to be on site at that time, that'll give me a good idea of how many pizzas to order with a little extra as a cushion, just so we're not shorted on that. All right. Sunday. Yes. So the operations will continue in the wee hours, and it's primarily on the low bands, though sometimes you're surprised. I think last year 20 meters actually worked pretty late into the night, as I recall. But we do need some night owls to be operating there. We sometimes seem to be a little bit short on operators overnight. And I myself will go as far as I can, which is usually till about 2 or 3 a.m. And then all the espressos I've been drinking, I will crash out for a couple of hours and then get back into the game on sunrise. But we could use people to help us keep operating through the night. So if you're a night owl, come on down. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was referring to everybody. So that's all of us. All right. Yeah, everybody does. All right, let me continue with this. And then as John mentioned before, we'll have breakfast on site that morning. And then you'll find that on the final hours, you'll find that many of those big gun stations that have stayed out there holding frequencies and calling field day, all of a sudden they switch around because everybody that there's not as their returns are slowing down. They may flip over and start doing hunt and pounce on us. I'll go into that a little bit later, what that is. And then last contact can be made at 1:59 p.m. local time. So once your clock computer says 2 o'clock, that's it. You've got to stop. So no No more exchanges. And then we're really going to need a lot of help for the tear down of all the stations and everything there, pulling the ground rod. At least Gravity is working with us on the on taking down the antennas, but we want it to be a controlled drop. So okay. But people will be tired, so we really need a lot of help pulling all that stuff down. Just winding up all those coax cables is a lot of work, and we need people to help with that. And if there's any leftovers of the pizza and the pork butt and whatever else, we sometimes finish that off after we've gotten everything down. So. Mhm. 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 Right. Okay. Now, the exchange to be made, in order to get your points, you have to make a full exchange, and that works for just about every contest. So the complete exchange is the call sign of the class ARRL or RAC section of each station. No signal report is necessary. You don't have to give them a 5-9. You're not going to hear on this like on some other content. What's that call again? What's that again? Oh yeah, you're a 5-9 into North Carolina. No, you're not going to get that. We don't bother with it. If you can hear them and make the exchange, that's it. There's no signal report needed. For any DX stations, that's any stations that's outside of the United States or Canada. No matter where they are, you just mark them as DX, essentially. And we do get quite a few Europeans who seem to like working field day. So yeah, you'll see some of that. Okay, for us, for CW or digital, we would have our information be W4EZ 6E North NC. Doing that by phone, that's Whiskey 4 Echo Zulu 6 Charlie. So that's telling them our call sign, what our class is, and our location, what our section is. And then you'll hear all sorts of stuff coming back at you over the air. And I have a question here. Hang on.
Yes, I'm going to have a procedure on the 22nd, but if I'm up and can operate from my home, can I use the club's call sign?
No. The short answer is no, you can't. One of the rules for field day is that all these stations within the at a field day site have to be within a 1,000-foot circle, essentially. But you can certainly call us and work essentially using your call sign. And there's another home stations and field data I'll talk about in just a minute, but I'll just give a few examples of some call signs you may see in different classes. So K2LOP, 5 Alpha, Northern New Jersey. I knew K2LOP. He was a real ham, by the way. And 1ZK, 2 Bravo, Western Massachusetts, WMA. AE7FK, 3F, 3 Foxtrot, Arizona. Anybody know what a Foxtrot class station is? That's an EOC. Yes. Yeah, working out of an EOC, Emergency Operations Center. So, yep. Okay, 5 Alpha is a club station essentially, and working on a field. Alpha. Bravo is up to 2 people working, setting up a station. Max, 1 or 2 people maximum. Charlie is mobiles. So if you hear a Charlie station out there, it's a mobile. VE3ABF, 1 Echo GTA. That's a Canadian station. Anybody know what GTA is? You got it. You got it. And G3 NSR, 1 Delta DX. Where's he from? You got it. You got it. Yeah. Eastern Massachusetts, EMA. It's EMA. All right. Now the operation teams for each station usually we're going to have 1 radio operator and a logger at any given time, and they may switch positions as they're needed. So the radio op works the rig, and he'll find the field day stations out there and try to make an exchange with them. when you're hearing these calls, the logger checks if the station heard has already been worked. So when you're first starting, you're just logging it. But when you start getting to a few dozen and more stations on there, it's hard to keep track of have I worked them already? And that's where the logging program is really great because you could start keying in call signs and it'll tell you if you've already worked them, essentially. What's more, the N3FJP will not let you log it if you've already worked it. It'll put a big red flag up there saying it's a duplicate. So it'll keep you from making that mistake. But the point is here that the logger can use that to look it up, and you could say, "Nope, we already got them. Keep looking for somebody else." And that's a more efficient way of doing this. So if it is a new exchange, new station, you make the exchange, give them your information, make sure you've copied their information, and it goes into the log. So most cases, a lot of us are going to do the hunt and pounce, running up and down the van and listening for people going CQ field day. And alternatively, you can call CQ on an empty slot and start a run. And particularly if you keep hearing the same stations over and over, it might behoove you to just go find an empty space and put out a call, mix it up. Make sure you stay within the band privileges of the control operator. Now, everybody is under the assumption that because the trustee of the call sign is an extra, that means everybody using that call sign can work the extra class privileges. It's not the case. It is the privileges of whoever your control operator is. So we're going to have control operators standing by who have at least general class privileges, if not extra. And you'll find that by far and large, most of the contacts on field day will be within the general class subbands. You'll find a few in the extra, but not a lot to really make it worthwhile to chase around up there so much. Okay, and let's see. QSO points. So each CW QSO is worth 2 points. Each digital QSO is worth 2 points. Phone QSOs are worth 1 point. So if we run no more than 100 watts of power, the multiplier is two times. That means each of those is doubled. So because we're staying within that power range, a CW QSO is 4 points. A phone QSO is 2 points. Go above 100 watts on your rigs. So. Okay, bonus points that are allowed for echo stations. Now, when we worked as a Delta stations last year, some of these were not available to us, which was another advantage of running on the battery power. We do get the 100 points emergency power bonus for each HF station. So that's 600 points we'll be getting right there because we're going with battery or other kind of emergency power. Alternate power bonus is available as well. And the easiest way we do that, by solar power. And someone told me they have batteries available. Yeah, John has that available for us. And if we work at least 5 QSOs using alternate power and mark that in the log where they were, we got that 100-point bonus right there. The easiest way to do it. 50 points are online log submission. That's what I do. So I'll take care of that after we get everything all wrapped up. 100 points to copy the W1AW Field Day Bulletin. I do that via PSK 31, 9 o'clock on Friday evening. So that way I'm not cutting into my operating time for Field Day the following day. If I pick it up on the 9 o'clock transmission, I've got it out of the way. So I just copy that into my PSK 31 receive buffer, cut and paste it into a Word file, done. So let's see what else. 100 points each for elected official visit and served agency official visit. So what that meant was back in the day when we were working with areas, I think it probably applies for Oxcom officials now. Anyone who was any official from a served agency, EOC, one of the fire departments, Red Cross, if they came to our site, we got a 100-point bonus for that. Same goes for elected officials. In the past, we had a congressman, we've had mayors from Hillsborough, I think we've had county councilmen show up on site in the past. So any one of those, that'll get us 100 points right there if they come and visit. Sorry? Well, it's just one time. Yeah. Yeah, you can't get 5 of them over here and get 500 points, unfortunately. Well, what I meant is 100 points each for an elected official and a served agency. So it's 200 points we can get right there, one of each. Yes.
Officer count.
I don't know about a patrolman, but I don't know about she asked if a police officer. I think if you had a police chief or somebody who has a span of control within the department that would interface with us, that would probably count. Yeah. Okay. 100 points for social media publicity. Well, I have a Facebook page that kind of lies fallow every year, and I might bring it up for the day, but I don't push the social media too much. For one thing, we're using private properties, so we don't want the masses descending upon us. So I'm not going to worry too much about that particular thing. Yes, sir. Let me run on over.
Since Wilson doesn't want visitors, we could publicize it the day after in the media.
That's a thought. I might look at that. Well, here's the thing. Also, the media publicity, they have to. It used to be that if you just made the effort, the points. Now it has to show up in the media. But yeah, let me look into that. I do have to make sure that the publication is done within a month after field day, because that's I have to submit the results within 1 month essentially for field day. So I can't let it wait too long. Here's one that we've never gotten all the points we could on it. Youth operators. So any youth operators they don't have to be licensed even, they don't have to be hands. If they're 18 years old or less, we get 20 points for each youth operator, and that works at least 2 QSOs. I think maybe even just 1 QSO. But if you get them to work a bit and you mark it on the log, that's 20 points for each youth operator, up to 100 points. So if we can get 5 young'uns out there operating, we'll get that 100 points right there. We've never quite got that. I think at the most I've seen, I think on a field day, was we had 60 points at one time. But if we get enough kids out there, it's an easy grab there for those points. And then 50 points is a field day responsibilities bonus. For our class, for Alpha class, they had a field safety checklist. They have the same and that's 100 points there. For our class, they have pretty much the same thing. Field days responsibilities bonus, 50 points. So Bill and Joe will work on that for us. And that's just mainly looking for, as I mentioned before, flagging trip hazards, making sure stations are grounded, battery terminals are covered, that kind of thing. Fire extinguishers are on hand, first aid kit. So we'll get that all checked up. Okay. Thou shalt nots. So you may not work a field day station from which you have already transmitted. What that means is if you come and work our site and do transmitting working field day as one of our volunteers here, if you go home from your home station, you can't call us. So you can call the rest of the world, no problem, but you can't work a station that you've already been transmitting from. I think in the past, some clubs were sending members home and doing like round robins to try to pad up the score. And I think that's why that rule came into place. This is just especially for the benefit of people who don't work contests much or too much. HF says don't transmit out of band, and in fact stay 3 kilocycles inside of the band edges so your bandwidth does not leak over. The official observers, I think, have a contest on field day to see how many people they could cite for leaking over the edges of the band. And I'll let you know one other thing. You may hear when you go beyond the lower edge of the phone section of 40 meters, you're going to hear some voice transmissions. But listen carefully, it's Canadians. Yeah, you may hear Canadians working each other or working DX. We don't have privileges there. The United States does not have privileges, but Canada and Europe does. So don't jump up. Wait a second, Bill. So those countries have privileges within that part of the band. We do not. So if you jump in there and try to make a contact, the Canadians will either ignore you, or being Canadian, they'll very politely tell you that they can't work you because you're not supposed to be there. So, you know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People that are just running. Not fuel money, but it's fans.
I'm getting into that. I'm getting into that. All right. If you hear someone calling just CQDX instead of CQ Field Day, leave them alone. They're not interested in talking Field Day. They're looking for something else. So just keep on going. And if you hear a net going on, don't break into a net and try to make Field Day contacts, especially on 80 meters. They will not be polite about it. And part of the rules for Field Day is that you can't use repeaters for any contact. So it's got to be a straight simplex communication, essentially. And last but not least is pay attention to your control operators, because it's their equipment, and just follow their instructions. And if you have any questions, if you're not sure how to do anything on the rig, but ask them. They'll be happy to help you with that. Any questions so far on this? Yes, sir. Ah, the land of magic. Well, we'll let Wilson speak on the land of magic. Here we go.
What do we want to know? 3117 Moorfields Road, Moorefields Road, Hillsboro. And you can always find people by looking on QRZ.com under their call letters. If you haven't used QRZ, it's a good idea because you literally can find anybody. You can even find by the name. So it's harder by name because you'll get more than one, but usually. But you can look down and see what you recognize and click on them and find out where they are.
I'll put the address also on.
And just for anyone that's new and stuff like that, that's specifically Wilson's address, and the Land of Magic is the name given to his basement. So both main Field Day at his house and then Land of Magic is just his basement.
Okay, and as I mentioned before, the Land of Magic is a living amateur radio history museum. Indeed. Okay. And lastly, we want everybody to have fun with it. So if a station is not responding to you after a few calls, just move down the band and try again later. So propagation may have been improved later on, and then they might be able to hear you. If they have a big, heavy pileup, again, same thing. Come back later, because a lot of the big guns will have worked them and then moved on, and you have a better chance at being heard. All QSOs are equivalent. It may be neat to work Hawaii, but if they can't hear you, don't keep trying. I've fallen into that trap myself. Oh, good, it's Wyoming. Let me see if I can get them. But no. Working a few more stations in New Jersey will get you more points, and it's a better use of your time. Yeah, I know it's just New Jersey, but yeah, like a QSO points are QSO points. So no. No, the neat part is on, at least on the N3FGP program, they have a map that fills in with colors as you work each section. So I like to jump up on there once in a while and see, oh, what's left. And then when I do the master log at the end of at the end of when I'm submitting the score, I look at that map because it's everybody's logs all together, and I say, dang, nobody got South Dakota? You know. All right. If you do get tired, get someone else in there to operate, take a stretch break. So most of the operating periods we plan on is 2-hour stretches. And if you have a logger and a radio operator at the time, you just swap off guys, and that way you all stay fresh, and you're helping each other out. You change, you flip over and do the other job, and help each other out. If you have already worked all the stations you can hear, as I mentioned before, just find an empty space. Always ask if the frequency is in use first, and then try calling CQ, and you'll may get some responses. And then let the other station set the tone. You're gonna hear some guys who are real competitors. They're gonna be real fast, real fast. And when they finish the exchange with you, they're just gonna say thanks, CQ Field Day, and move on real fast. You might get some others who are a little bit more casual about it and might want to know, hey, good signal, what kind of rig are you running? Just let them set the pace, set the tone, and work with them. And you'll find that most of the people out there are courteous. You just be courteous in return, and it makes it more fun for everybody.
I'll tell you something about being tired, Dave.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think so, but it is possible to send Morse code while you're asleep.
I believe it. I believe it.
You don't tend to get real coherent replies when you.
Yep, I can believe that. No, you have to see me when I'm working digital, like 2 o'clock in the mornings. Yeah. But any questions so far on this? No, sir.
I totally agree with Dave's last slide about timing and wasting a lot of time. If any of you are ARRL members and got the last issue of QST, or if you have access to the last issue of QST and read it, go to page 52. There's a very short article there on how to make contacts and how not to make contacts, what's appropriate timing and what's a waste of time. His point about thanks, goodbye. I mean, a lot of folks will do that. In CW, we don't talk. I mean, everything sent with a computer. We will send also, somebody will come back to us. We'll send his call info. He'll send ours. We'll say thanks. Automatic. There's no what's the temp. Automatic. We are in it for rate. And another thing, if you try calling CQ, I recommend it, but don't call it 3 or 4 times because there's no automatic spotting for sideband. There is for CW. Okay, there's clusters that can copy code and they'll send out automatic stuff if you're logged into the internet about, W4EZ is on 20 meters at 14,030. So those that are logged into the internet will see that. Give the people some time to find you. And when they do, that person might spot you, okay, on the cluster. But be patient. 2 or 3 CQs and no response does not mean, let's go search and pounce again.
Thanks, Bruce. Yeah.
We have a recording on the OCRA website of Laura working, and I'll push that up to the top of the website so you can see it and go listen to it.
Very good. All right. For those of you who want to ask, yeah. Okay. Yep. I got another comment. And
for those of you that have never been to Wilson's place, do not pull in the driveway unless you're handicapped. Park on the side of the road. You'll probably see other cars parked in the same place.
yeah, thank you. We are going to go into those kind of logistics. A couple of other points I want to make are N3FJP logger. There is a tutorial, I think a link to a tutorial on it. I'll put that out on the reflector. The other thing I mentioned was that we're going to do signups for time slots for each of the stations there. So Aurora put together a sign-up sheet, which I'll probably finally post onto the reflector. So if people want to choose sometimes they may want to work on different stations, they can sign up for that. It also signing up for helping with the setups and the cooking and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be able to get a better idea of what holes we'll have in the schedule that might need filling and try to nudge some people into going for that. I think that's all I had right there. Any other comments, questions? Okay. Okay, and John has one more. Oh, and actually I'll throw it back to Wilson for comments since it's his property we're working on.
Yeah, just a quick question for Bruce. Bruce, the document you did last year was pretty helpful in terms of how to operate these radios. Is that still available? Is that out on the one of the websites somewhere?
I think it was the other class.
Yeah, the K3s.
I have last year's PowerPoint. It's on.
Okay, that's just because that was helpful if we had at each station, you know, when the.
I'll post that, and if there's something, I will post that. The question was the K3 radios, which most of us are using. We had a good tutorial PowerPoint on it last year. I'll make sure that's on the reflector so people can access that. And I think for the tutorial for N3FJP. N1MM, good luck. And by the way, I just want to say one thing. If you're on the sign up sheets, you're welcome to come and watch the CW operators. But if you're not conversant in high speed CW, I'd say probably don't sign up as an operator for that. But they could. I don't know if they need you as loggers or if they have that all covered. So, but it's great to watch them at work and at that high rate of speed. And last thing I'm going to have is hand off to Wilson, who's hosting us. Thank you again, Wilson. And he'll let you know what some of his expectations are with us with dealing with his property and what not to do and what you're welcome to do.
It's pretty loosey goosey. Don't cut down any large trees and drive carefully, and no alcohol until dinner time. Gosh, I don't know more. There will be published work day when we move some brush and things like that. Aurora has come out one day and worked like a trooper, made me tired, and got most of the brush moved, but there is more to do. So that'll be published. And have fun.
We intend to.
Have another meal.
All right. Any last before I shut this down? Well, yes. Well, anything else?
I have an announcement that is not field day related.
All right. Well, I think we got field day covered. So, yes.
Aurora, are you okay with me showing the sign up sheet? I have it pulled up to show everyone. Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to show everyone.
Yeah, we can put that up. For most things that are done, 2 hour slots are usually good for most things.
Yeah, so here's the sign up sheet. It's through Google Sheets. You don't have to download anything. As long as you have an internet connection and a web browser, you can access this. This is going to be the first thing that you see shows up. And then at the bottom, there's tabs. There's like a thing for setup, cleanup, provisions. And then each station, we got 10-meter stations, 42015, 2080, which is going to be my station. So I think everyone should sign up for that one. But also, just in general, especially if you're new, I really recommend, even if you can't sign up for a little bit, just coming out to just see. Last year's field day was the first field day that I had ever been to. I'd only been a ham for about 6 months, and I had a blast from seeing the different stations. That was really the first time I had ever been on HF besides 10 meters. And that was really interesting. First time I had ever seen FT8 and digital. So yeah, so everyone should come out.
One comment real quick. At about 6 o'clock today, I sent out a link to a sign up spreadsheet for the 4015 station. I did not know that Aurora was setting up this master sheet. So please ignore the one that I sent. Please use the one that she sent out. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. Ignore the link I sent. Use whatever link you see that gets posted.
Thank you. And Dan, and I think Chip had a comment.
There are several articles on the OCRA website, and one of them has a lot of photographs of particularly the 2025 field day. I'll push that up to the top. So if you just go to ncocra.org, you can at least get a pictorial view of all the stations and a little bit about it.
All right. Thank you, Dan. And you had a comment, Chip?
This is not field day specific. A couple of recommendations. Grilling season is here. No wire brushes. The wire bristles can break off and you can ingest them and you will get, it will hurt. And the other thing, I bet you there are a lot of grandkids out here on the 4th of July. Make sure they wear shoes because feet and sparklers do not mix.
Yeah. I could tell you about wire brushes. I've done a lot of restoration work. Yeah. They can't hurt.
I wasn't laughing at children getting injured. I was laughing at me doing stupid things as a kid.
First, I just want to say, if you're a new ham and you've never done anything with putting antennas up in trees, like I would strongly recommend if you can get time off on Friday to go do that, or to at least help take them down on Sunday. It's really educational, and it's fun, kind of fun, I think. And especially putting them up with going boom with the antenna launchers is very satisfying. And then second thing, not related to field day, I sent, and I know there's a bajillion like field day sign up things, so it's easy for things to get lost, but I am trying to organize for July, a build day for J-pole antennas. When I sent out a survey earlier, there were like 20 people in one. It was like far and away the thing that people were the most interested in and doing for a build day. This will be something that happens on Saturday. The date is the Saturday, the 11th of July. And it's going to be sort of like when we did past build days here, when we were building fox sniffers, where we're just going to set up all the tables. We'll have people with soldering irons and tools, and people can help you. And I will get the materials in advance, and you can just pay me back at cost, kind of thing. Or you can bring your own. If you don't sign up somewhat soon, I won't be able to buy supplies for you because I won't know you're coming. But I'm hoping that people will respond within the next week. So far, I've only gotten 3 signups, which is a lot less than the 20 that were interested. So hopefully we'll have a critical mass of people. I will resend the sign up email to the Reflector. And if y'all could let me know by the 14th, so I have some time to order that and get stuff ready, and then have field day, and then 4th of July, and then I'll be kind of ready. I don't want to be trying to get supplies at the last minute. So I'd appreciate timely responding to the form. And I hope there's still interest, because I want an excuse to make one, and I think it would be a lot more fun to make one with a lot of other people than just like sitting by myself. So yes. You are like, if you want to bring the instructions I have are for, I wanted to make it accessible for technicians, because so the plans I have are for a shorter one, and I want to make sure we have enough material for everyone. If you can bring your own materials for a longer one, then yes, please do so. And if you need that social incentive to do that thing you've always wanted to do amongst friends, please, bring that. But the idea is to make it VHF, UHF, so that everyone, no matter what your licensure level, can use it. But if you already have one and you want to make another one, like you could make a DMR or one, like if like whatever you want it for. Oh, and because of field day, we are not having a TV. So for those who may not be familiar, we are in the Land of Magic at least once a month, meeting to take apart. We've already taken apart an old television, and we're also just kind of rating the general magical supplies of the Land of Magic. And we're making some very old tube-based, completely from scratch with old parts, radios. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to learn about circuits, and just kind of like the basics of radio, and to solder, and what was it? Like to learn to solder like barbarians, I think was how he described it. So if you have any, you can feel free to, like, it's fine if you haven't come before. Anyone is welcome at any point in time. We are not doing it in June because field day is at this place, and Wilson needs to eventually sleep. But we will have our next meetup in near the end of July on July 26th, I think. That's the last Sunday in July. So that's an invitation. If you want to get like regular email updates about that, email me or email the Reflector saying, Aurora, I want to sign up for this thing, and I'll put you on the list of, we kind of do surveys to figure out what days work best for people. Yes, at 3 p.m., also in the Land of Magic.
All right. Well, thank you all, and just keep an eye on the Reflector, and I'll give any further updates for Field Day, and look forward to seeing you all there. All right.
I'll see if there's any Zoom wisdom.
Ah, yes.
Speak up, Zoomers.
Yep, I'm trying.
Wolf.
Speaker.
I guess they're all asleep.
No, we're not all asleep.
Woke up now.
We're not all asleep.
We're just gonna email Aurora.
Yeah.
So hand it off to the president. Thank you.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Then that'll wrap it up for this evening.